What is up, folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got an exciting video for you. We have some lure innovation to talk about. So the Topwater bait from TX Lures right here is a special go-getter of a bait. We're gonna do underwater footage. We're gonna talk about the different things that I rig up on this, how it looks in the water, and all kinds of stuff. So let's go. Folks at home, so the TX10 here from TX Lures has a rotating bearing driven thing. It's got a rattle in there. So this is a topwater plopper with a then Texas rigged 4/0 hook that you can add any soft plastic to. So it's basically like a harness, but it's a plopper harness, if you will. Great package, right? Great sound in the water. This bait looks incredible coming through the water. It's throwing a ton of water left and right, and there's a lot of different things that you can hang on the back to really make a difference in your catch rate. So let's go underwater and check out the TX10.
Alright guys, so let's talk about topwater lures. The TX10 hits all three categories that I'm considering when I'm fishing a topwater lure. The first is action, the second is sound and vibration, and the third is versatility. So here is the bait standard with a hula grub that it comes with, and what you're seeing here is one, it's got that beautiful plopper style rotation bubble trail, and the cool thing about this is you can add any soft plastic variation that you want to. Now, the action part of this bait is superb. It's got a clean plopper style chop. It throws out a huge bubble trail. It's got a nice sound profile on it. The thing that I like that puts its action apart is its ability to put different action on the back of the lure. So here's a poor boy's Erie Daughter in a 4.5 inch, and this bait absolutely looks fantastic on the back of it because what it's doing is it's giving a nice subtle up and down tail kick that looks like a bait fish on the surface. You really don't get that out of a normal style plopper bait. A normal style plopper bait just gives you that, that chunk action. This is giving you a secondary action that looks just like a minnow or a fish kicking along behind this bait. That gives it, in my opinion, a leg up on the competition. And couple this with the fact that you can Texas rig those baits and throw it through the trash and it's going to come through clean, where you can't do that with a bait with treble hooks, really is going to set you up for success. Plus, this is innovative and a new way to kind of present lures in a classic pattern, but in a way that you can change the action of the bait. That is huge when you're fishing pressured water or when you're fishing fish that have seen all kinds of plopper baits, all kinds of different styles. The thing that you can now do is you can change the sound and vibration of the bait by adding a different lure on the back. So here is a cream worm, and the ribbontail worm I use a ton as a trailer on my buzz baits. You can also use it as a trailer here because it really gives a subtle, nice kick to a loud, aggressive presentation, and when you pause it, that tail is going to flutter down in their face and really set you up for success in different situations. The cool thing about this bait too is it won't blow out. You can throw it and burn it as fast as you want to, and it's going to run as advertised. Here I'm moving that bait along at a high rate of speed, and it is staying true. It's throwing out that bubble trail. It's doing a great job of staying true at any speed, slow, fast, in between. It's doing it all. That is something that you want in a bait. And the fact that you can change the sound and vibration pattern by the lure that you put on the back is a super cool feature. Now, probably one of the best trailers that I found in this underwater footage is just a straight up yum curly tail grub. You could throw a Kalin's grub on there if you wanted to, but the fact is that this grub looks fantastic on the back of this. You're throwing out a huge water volume bubble trail, and then you've got that nice subtle grub kick behind it following up, almost like a fish chasing another fish. If you know anything about burning a topwater grub, it's one of those techniques that guys have been throwing for 100 years because it works, right? Burning that grub along the surface is a surefire way to get bites, and it's a way to downsize it so it's not overly aggressive. And you can see it is spitting and throwing a ton of water on top and below the water, which is huge. A lot of times in windy conditions or muddy conditions, when you need that huge cavitation on a bait and you need that plop, 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 this is going to give it to you. But you also are facing situations where you have to be close to cover, around structure that may be out of the water. So this gives you a weedless way to present that lure in a different way. So sound and vibration you can play with and change. Normally on a bait you get one sound and vibration. You have to change baits in order to get that different effect. But with this bait you can fish the same bait and you can find what trailer is really working the best. And here, as you're pausing and slowing it down, it's got that subtle flip and that tail kick. Here you go from small trailer to huge trailer. Here's a 10-inch bull worm from Strike King, and I put this on here to see what that subtle kick would be like on a majority straight-tailed worm. You could throw a Zoom super fluke on there, you could throw a trick worm, any kind of straight-tailed bait on there is going to get a secondary action from that bubble trail and cavitation of that plopper spinning on the front. And the beautiful thing about this is it works at any speed, and what we're displaying here is versatility. So the three things I love in a topwater are action, sound and vibration, and versatility. The plopper usually does not have a lot of versatility because of the way that it operates, but this plopper has versatility because you can change the sound profile, you can change the action profile to match what the fish want to see, and that's an advantage when you're fishing. If you're fishing water that's really pressured or water that sees a lot of anglers, throwing something different is a great way to get bit. On the channel, you know we love to find ways to fish baits differently. Here is a Storm Largo shad on the back of it, and I really enjoy this bait at speed. It's slow, it kind of has a lazy tail kick, but at speed that tail is kicking back and forth and it's throwing water on the top. I can't imagine throwing this for spots or smallmouth in clear water. It's going to absolutely slay. Looking forward to going down to Cumberland this summer and fishing the treetops with this bait when those fish are set up in those trees on the bank. This is going to be an excellent way to get at those clear water conditioned fish that have seen a lot of different things. The fact that this throws a lot of water on the surface but also has that secondary action under gives it, just another leg up and an advantage in ways to present baits in a different way that's going to get bites. A lot of times as anglers we focus on doing what everybody else does, but I found that if you focus on doing different things, you can generate a lot more and better bites in certain situations. Here is the Berkley Havoc Pit Boss on there, and the Pit Boss is one of my favorite soft plastics. Here it gives you the bluegill style profile, it gives you those nice tentacle kick on the top, but this is a great bait to pause, because when you pause it's going to slowly sink down. Those tentacles will undulate, it will look like a sunfish that's turning to eat something on top or to pick at something on top, and a lot of times that's when bass love to ambush those kinds of baits. So guys, if you like what's going on the channel right now, give us a like, subscribe. If you want to pick up one of these baits, we have all of these things linked from TX Lures in the description. Visit them, pick one up, help support them. They're American made baits out of Texas, so help out a fellow creator, help us help you. Let us know in the comments what you want to see in the future. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Hopefully you learned a lot. Thanks.